Hey, what's up, ladies and gentle-tubers? My name is Tyler. This is the eveRide channel, and today I'm going to show you all of the motovlogging secrets, cameras I use, how I use them, how I position them, how to set up a microphone in your helmet, how to get a drone in a backpack, how to set everything up. All of my tips and tricks, I'm laying them out on the table. I've been asked this so many times. It's time to finally show you guys how I do it, all on the cheap. So all this stuff is the least expensive stuff that I could find. Also, it's how to use multiple sets of equipment to serve dual purpose. For example, I'm actually using a action camera right now to pick up my audio because the audio on this specific camera is incredibly good. So without further ado, let's get to it. I'll show you everything I got. All right, so here is the helmet. Now, as you can see, I've got this handy dandy hook right here. This is actually called a helmet hook. You guys, this is so ridiculously useful. If you've got bar ends or hand guards, you basically just put that on there and you can hang your helmet on it, even if it's got a ratcheting strap. If it's got the D-rings, obviously, it goes right on there. But this will keep your helmet from falling down and getting just mangled all the time. It stays on there perfectly. It's really easy to put it in there. You guys, something easy like this is invaluable. I absolutely love the helmet hook. Alright, you guys, I'm sorry for that unfair teaser. I was going to film the whole thing up on the ridge there, but it got really windy, which did two things. It made my audio turn into crap, and it blew the hat cam off of my head and off of the cliff that I was standing on. So sorry, no awesome dramatic backdrop that I usually try to get for you guys. Today it's just going to be filmed in the garage, but that's okay. It allows me to kind of focus a little bit more on the equipment, which is why you're here anyway. So we'll start off first with this is my hat cam 2.0. Now, the original one just had some zip ties to hold the camera in there. This one actually uses the Sony tripod adapter mount right there that comes with the AS100V or AS200V. We're gonna go ahead and put this thing on right now. So I'll clip it in, and now I have a hat camera where I can be hands-free. This thing comes in really, really handy. So simple to make. It's just a 1/4" thread mount. And you could basically build it for any kind of action camera you have. Now, as you can see here, we have our DJI Phantom 3 standard. This thing is awesome. It has a 2.7K camera, and if you follow my Facebook page religiously, this will come up on deals quite often nowadays. And even though this is the older version, the 4 just came out, the Phantom 3 standard can be had for $400. This is filmed May 13th, 2016, but a drone with a 2.7K camera that's reliable as anything I'll get out. It comes with an excellent RC here, and you can hook it up to just about any phone. Make sure your phone works, actually. Again, shoot in 2.7K, get beautiful video footage. Here, I'll just show you the gimbal here. Really good 3-axis gimbal. Now, back when I bought my first drone, you had to buy the drone and then a really expensive gimbal, and then a camera like a GoPro, and it got really pricey. And these days, I mean, I can't wait for the future, but these days you could get the drone, gimbal, camera, RC, everything all put together with the connectivity to hook it to your phone. It's a Wi-Fi connection, pretty easy to set up, for $300. And for anybody making budget films for YouTube, 2.7K high def that's just an amazing deal. Another thing that I can do with this, and it's kind of cheating because this is a cheap way to do things, but if you look right there on my monitor there, you know, if I was holding a camera and kind of panning along, it would look really shaky and stuff like that. Since this has a gimbal built in, I can actually use the drone without flying it. I just set it up, and then I can get some of these really, really nice sweeping pan shots. And obviously it's a little choppy on the monitor here, but having a gimbal at all on a 2.7K camera, I'm happy to just hold it like this and get some sweeping shots like that. This is an awesome piece of equipment, guys. Really ridiculously inexpensive. Make sure to follow my Facebook page, facebook.com/everride.org, because I post deals to stuff like this all the time. And they're awesome. Oh, look, there I am. Oh, I don't know if I can see it. Anyway, I'm such a nerd, you guys. I'm sorry. So one of the big cons of this drone and the DJI Phantom series is they have this intelligent battery. And it's not really a con. The battery life is great on these. They fly for about 25 minutes, which is amazing. However, this little battery right here will cost you anywhere from $100 to $150. That's quite expensive for a little battery. However, for what you get, it's amazing. And that's only if you need extra batteries. Personally, when I go out, I don't need to get all 25 minutes of footage usually. So usually I'm flying it 2 or 3 times, and I can do that all on this battery and get the footage I need. So I love this thing. Now, to go back to the Phantom, how in the world do I transport this thing on a dirt bike and keep it any kind of safe? And I'll show you. This is the backpack that I use, and this thing was, I believe, about 70 bucks. It's a DJI knockoff, which I kind of get everything that I can for as cheap as I can, just to stay on budget and to help other budget video creators and motovloggers and, you know, anybody who's interested in doing this kind of stuff. This isn't all just for me. That's why I'm sharing all my secrets here. Anyway, this thing's amazing. It fits everything in there nice and snug. So the Phantom 3 Standard comes with this little gimbal holder. You just slide that in there, and it will usually hold your gimbal nice and smooth. So we'll just slide that in like that. You can fit up to 3 extra batteries in there. You see I got my propellers in there. I've got propellers on this side as well. We're actually going to pull this off. Now, there's a lot of fancy mounts. I always use dual lock and a piece of bent aluminum. And I've got some dual lock on here. It just sticks on like that. And when I'm transporting it, I just put the dual lock on the back and set it right in like that. Then with my phone here, I can put it in here if I want to keep it inside the case, just to keep it really nice and clean. Slide those in, and you're pretty much done. Now, one thing that I do is I will put all the propellers over here, and I'll actually get this hat camera and put it in the side as well. And then I can strap it down, and Bob's your uncle. This backpack, I wasn't sure whether to trust it with, at the time, a $700 purchase, a $700 drone. However, this backpack's been great. I've crashed on it before. I've been out in the dust and dirt. It's gotten wet. You know, not anything torrential, but I'm telling you right now, it works fine. The drone's been protected, and honestly, if you get this and what is now a $400 drone, you're not going to be, you know, out a ton of money if that thing fails. And it's so worth it to have it out there. Being able to get all this stuff on your back, on your person, get out there riding on a dirt bike where nobody else can access, that's a huge bonus. So this is an Anker, I think Astro battery, and nothing really special to it. It lasts forever and ever. It charges up all of my goodies, and basically I can plug it into any of these things and have it charge it. Everything except for the Panasonic Lumix there, and obviously the battery for the DJI drone. Let's get into the cameras that I use. These are my favorite cameras. This is the Sony AS100V, and as you can see, it is beat to heck. And I've modded this thing. I got dual lock on there. I run it naked almost all the time. The reason being, I need to have audio going into that little audio jack right there. Now, one of the biggest flaws to the Sony cameras is they've got their little clasp to hold their case on right here at the bottom. Well, that just so happens to be the exact place where the mic port is also. So if you're a motovlogger, that doesn't work. So Sony, I wish you guys would fix this. I wish you guys would make the sound really loud when this thing turns on so you know that it's on, and when you click it off, you know that it's off. I wish there was a few different things, but for what this is, I think, twice or 3 times the camera that a GoPro is. A lot of people will disagree. The mounting on the Sony is not very good. However, the camera itself is far superior. Why? It has GPS, you can hook it to your phone, it has a steady shot function, it has so many more features than a GoPro. Video quality is about the same. The audio quality I find vastly better. The battery life is 2 or 3 times as long depending on what kind of GoPro you have. And it's just really simple to operate. You've got this little screen here, and the settings are easy to access. It's just a fantastic, fantastic little camera. And I hate to break it to all you GoPro guys out there, but it was this camera, not any of the GoPros, that made Consumer Reports' top camera in their ratings. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that because there's probably some kind of user agreement when you use Consumer Reports, since that stuff's supposed to be behind a paywall. This is the top camera for Consumer Reports, and it is fantastic. So I love this camera. It's what I use. since I have to use it naked, which is a big, huge downside of the Sony, I do use this little lens protector here. So that just clips on right there, and then it's got dual lock on the side. Now let me show you how I mount this up to my helmet really quick. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of this whole video anyway. Here you can see I've got a mic coming out of the helmet that goes up to the front. I'll show you a little bit about that later. Pardon me, you can probably see my toes. My toes aren't that gross, really. You can make nasty comments about my toes, it's fine. So what I've done is I've bent this piece of aluminum, put dual lock on it, obviously, and you know what? That's just the way to get around Sony's bad mounting and poor decisions when it comes to case design. Otherwise, fantastic camera, but get it together on the mounts, you guys. So this is a bent piece of aluminum attached to a motorcycle helmet. Best idea ever? Probably not. However, does it work? Yes. Have I ever been hurt? No. Has the camera ever come off? Like 2 wrecks it's come off. It stays on there really strong. Dual lock is like super Velcro. I'll show you guys the strength right here. So I just clipped it on, and I can basically pick up my helmet with that stuff. It is not going anywhere. Very strong. And so when I mount the Sony camera to it, just in case, I do use this little leash here and put that around, and then clip it in, make sure that it's aligned on the center here so you're not facing down, and I clip it in like that, and that thing's on there. So that is how I mount my camera to it. Piece of aluminum, dual lock on the camera, it's all set up, ready to go. Now, as for little extra mods for the camera, one thing that I don't like about the Sony is that you can't always tell if it's on, and when it's on your head like this, you've got to lean over and look in the mirror to see if you're running any time code in this little screen, and that can be really hard to see. I run it upside down. Why? Because I want to be able to see the screen, so why not run it on the right side of my helmet? Well, I run it on the left side of my helmet because that way I can keep my hand on the throttle while I function the camera. I'm gonna function your camera. I can keep my hand on the throttle while I control the camera with my hand. So let's look at some of these other cool mods. My friend Shan is a genius, basically, and I wanted a way to see if my camera was running without having to look in the mirror and get all crazy. So what he did is he got a piece of fiber optic cable, just like this, a fiber optic cord, and I drilled out the back of my case right there. So you can see when I turn it on, that light turns on, it's nice and bright, and I can plug this in, and then it transmits a little tiny red light right there, and I can see that. It's like a heads-up display for my video camera. That's really cool, and when I turn it off, the light turns off, and it's gone. Shan's a genius. That's all I have to say about that. So, super cool little thing. Let's get right to the microphone. This microphone that I'm using here, you just open this up, plug it in there. Now you can see how trashed I've mangled this thing. These things are near invincible. The body is also splash proof. That's something that GoPro doesn't have. This thing can get wet and it withstands it. When I'm done with a ride, I just rinse it off. Make sure the ports are closed, obviously, but then just rinse it off. I can't say enough how much I love this camera. Steady shot's amazing. GPS overlay is really cool. I don't really use that, but anyway. This microphone is totally unrelated to anything with the Sena intercom. This microphone runs back through here, and I've actually got it wrapped around my boom microphone here, and it's got a little bit of foam around it up here to keep the wind noise out. It doesn't need a Sena to operate at all. However, I like to have it on this boom. And with Sena, I gotta get to the Sena in a minute. I love Senas. However, one giant flaw with the Sena system is, why did they remove the boom from the clamp here? I don't understand that. Instead, they put on this Velcro stuff, and I'm just saying it sometimes falls off, and I don't want my boom to fall off. It's kind of critical for that to be solid. So, moving on to the Sena headset, which is something that I would recommend everybody buy. I'll be doing a more thorough review on the Sena 10S very soon, and hopefully the 20S, and I have been reviewing the Sena SMH10 for many years, and I love this device. It's awesome. I've said it many times before and I'll say it again. The Sena headsets are the best thing to happen to motorcycling since knobby tires. Being able to communicate with your friends is amazing. It's just awesome. And the Senas, they're not only compatible with each other, but they're also compatible with other brands as well, which none other brands are doing that I know of so far. So I love the Senas. They're easy to operate. Once you get the hang of them, you know exactly how to pair them up and sync them, and it's incredible. And they're doing great things. There's always updates. Love Sena. I just spit. Ugh. I love Sena though. Great products. So let me show you kind of how that works. I'll clip on my 10S here. Now like this, if somebody else had a headset, they would need to be mic'd into their own camera. Because when I speak in here, that runs only to my camera. And if they were set up like this, that would run only to their camera. However, if we use the headsets to communicate and we have both cameras running, and then we splice the footage together after the ride in post, and we basically put it together, then it sounds like we're having a fluid conversation, which we are because of the Sena headsets. What if somebody doesn't have they have a Sena headset, but they don't have a camera and a mic set up like I do that you can basically edit into post? Well, here's how you do that. So you can see I've got some tricksy little pieces over here, some other connectors, and this is pretty sloppy right now as it stands. However, it works, and it works really well. I've got a split connector here, and on this Sena headset it has a headphone out. And so I can actually plug this into the headphone out. So anything that's coming out of the Sena now is going through these wires, and it's split so that I can run my plug phones right there, and I can run another audio out right here. And guess where I can run this to? That's right, straight into my camera. Everything that the Sena hears now is going to be heard by my ears through the earplugs and through the camera because of that little auxiliary cable. Gets a little bit messy, but for what it does, I don't mind the mess. Now one thing, if you're going to do that so that you can capture conversations on your camera from your friends with their Senas on, you need to make sure to go into the instruction manual or go into the Sena app on some of these and adjust the settings, and so that it's called side tone. You need to make sure that side tone is on, and so that you will actually be able to hear yourself through the headphones. If side tone's not on, then all you'll hear in the camera once the audio is picked up is your friends. It won't play your own voice because your own voice isn't playing back through your headphones. So it only makes sense, turn on the side tone, and then it will record your voice to the camera, which is great. These plug phones are amazing, by the way. Just barely got some. They're very comfortable in your ear. I usually don't like this kind of flanged style headphone, but these are fantastic. They're comfy, they're nice and loud, the audio is great, and they block out a lot of the ambient noise, so you're not getting a lot of wind noise and stuff like that. Speaking of wind noise, this is an AFX FX41. Pretty good helmet. Is it the best? Not quite. I'll do a review on this helmet later. As a platform for motovlogging, it's pretty good. Obviously this is one of the cases. The camera that usually goes in here is actually on my head right now, but I can just slide that on there, and I have a rear camera. I know that looks goofy, that's the way I run it. Why do I run it up here instead of back here sticking out? Because back here I would get the drone case that I wear on my backpack in the shot. When it's up here, it's no longer in the shot, so that's nice. Now here's something that's just for dual sport motovloggers that I would highly recommend. A lot of guys, me included, started out riding and they would only use their shields on their helmets. And when you're riding in dirt, when you're riding in dust, that's not the best thing in the world. And so I started wearing goggles, and the thing is, the goggles wrap around, but then if you've got camera stuff up here or anything like that, and you want to take the goggles off while you're sitting still talking with people, then there's a problem, because you basically have to take off your helmet, otherwise the goggles stay right here. The solution was these quick straps. Super awesome idea. Basically all you do is click it on right there. It snaps in, and then you can basically have quick access to your goggles if you want them. And As most dual sport helmets do, this will have you can put your shield down over goggles. You guys riding with goggles is very highly recommended. It keeps that stuff out of your eyes. It'll keep a lot more airflow going through to your face. Ride with goggles, seriously. The goggles that I'm using, sorry they're a little bit dirty. These are 100% Strata goggles. They were only 25 bucks for a premium goggle. I really like them. And again, you know, you're stopped riding, you need to breathe a little bit, you just pull off the Velcro right there and boom, you can breathe. The quick straps with the 100% Strata goggles, super awesome. And once again, everything that I have here will be in the link in the description. That you'll be able to find those things really easily. Now it looks like we're done with the helmet. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to ask in the comments and I will try my hardest to get back to you. Other things that we have here. Here we've got a chest mount for a little bit more dynamic of a shot. Sometimes you just want something down there by the bars. You can see your hands and everything like that. It's just something that's a little bit different of a shot. Now, if you're not going to use plug phones and you're just going to use the headphones that come with the Sena, they're basically like, you know, they're about that big around. They're very, very nice. The sound quality is amazing. However, if you've got a helmet that's not so good with wind noise, FX41, then you'll want to use some earplugs. And you basically put the earplugs in and then turn on the Senas, turn up the volume, and you'll hear a little bit of exhaust noise. Mainly, you'll just hear the music coming through the Sena or your friend's voice nice and clear. So that's why I have these here. Let's talk about this. This is the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000. It is a 4K camera. It shoots in 120 frames per second high-speed shooting, which gives you excellent slow motion. It was suggested to me by my buddy Neil, of Neil is In. I got it used for $500. Now, to me, that is a huge, that's a huge investment. However, I needed something that was really, really good, very substantial, had a good zoom, and I like the idea of shooting in 4K, even though everybody doesn't use 4K or has a 4K TV. Basically what 4K is it's a really big, huge image, and so you can crop it down to 1080 and still have full high-def resolution. That's why I like 4K on this. And then also the 120 frames per second slow-mo is something that I really, really want to do as well. I think that's kind of a staple in the motorcycling world. Now, here's the question. How do I get all this crap onto my body and then go out and ride with it all? Well, it's pretty simple. The FZ1000 goes in this cool case. This is a, what is this? A Case Logic case. I think I searched for Case Logic hammock. It's got this cool little SLR suspension system, which basically means your lens will never touch anything. It's just suspended right there. Very cool idea. Now, this is where things get tricky because now I've got to show you how I put all this stuff on. So, hold on just a second. Okay guys, so we've cut to me in front of a green screen so I can put whatever I want back there. You might have seen it in my garage a while ago. I got it just in case so I could take some nice backdrops and then not have the wind mess things up, just like what happened today. So you're probably wondering, well, how do you get that stuff all on your body? Well, the backpack makes it pretty self-explanatory. Hold on just one second. So obviously the drone just goes on my back like this. Obviously this setup could be used for hiking, whatever you're gonna do. So you just clip that on like that, and then I've got two carabiners here. And what I like to do with the FZ1000, that's what is filming me right now. It has two little side things, and I can actually just clip that. I look like a friggin' Ninja Turtle, I don't know. It looks pretty crazy. I'm gonna get my helmet on too. All right, so now I've got my helmet. There we go. So you guys are probably thinking, well, that seems like a lot of extra weight. And guess what? It kind of is. That's the price that you have to pay to do this kind of stuff. Here, I'm gonna take this off again because it smells like my sweaty head and dirt. All right, so you're probably wondering, why do you have the camera case up here? Well, I need to be able to ride ahead of the group really fast and be able to get my camera out as fast as possible and also have it on my body, not flinging around somewhere, not in a tank bag where it's gonna get rattled to death. I need it right here. So basically, when everything's on, I can quickly unzip that, pull the camera out, be ready to go with slow motion 4K footage. It's the way I roll. And having it clipped onto here with these carabiners keeps it nice and secure. And then if I want to put the Chesty over, I can do that as well. But, well guys, that's about it. So that is my entire setup. That's all of my secrets. That's all of the stuff that I do to make my videos. Now, one more big secret is that all my videos are fake. They're just shot in front of this green screen. That's not actually true. I don't even know how to use this green screen that well yet, which is apparent by the bad shadows over here. Alright guys, well that's about it for me. I know this has been a super long video, but I hope you've enjoyed all of the little tips and tricks and what I put into this channel and the motovlogs and the video productions that I do. It's quite an expensive bit of kit and in a very, breakable situation. However, I've never had any major malfunctions other than losing cameras. So, I'll tell you what, the one thing that is missing is people to film. So like I mentioned earlier, I am going to be conducting some tours down here, still working on the business concept, business ideas and stuff like that, but basically I want to put all of this filming equipment, all of this stuff to use, filming you guys and your adventures in my backyard, because there's just, there's too much down here to share, so let's make that happen. So you guys, thank you again for watching. Thanks for watching a huge video. If you enjoyed what you saw and you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if any of these tips helped you at all, please hit the like button. And if you need anything featured in this video, please use the links in the description below, because that actually helps with the channel. It helps me put food on the table for my kids, and this is what I do full time. So it'd be awesome if you use my links. It doesn't cost you anything, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me out tremendously. Thank you guys so much for watching, and much love to you. eveRide out.